Shallow fish fans, it's Raina, the Halifax Mermaid. If you're new to my channel, this video is a little update for my subscribers and my fan base that follow me across social media. You're certainly welcome to watch it. You may not relate to it very much though, because it's just me trying to update my fans. If you're really curious to hear about what I do as a professional mermaid, please check out the pinned video on my YouTube where you can see a documentary. It's short, it's fun, and it shows you everything I do. So hi, it's been a while. Things have been a little nuts for me, so I thought it would be a good time to just check in and catch up with everybody and let you know what you can expect from me in the upcoming months. First of all, thank you so much for your support. There's a few of you who are just always like Peyton and Andrea and Adam and Steve. You're always commenting, you're always building me up. Many of my international fans are always building me up, and I really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I've been on an unintentional hiatus this year. It was not my plan. I had all these grand plans of making lots of videos for the first quarter of this year, and it didn't really happen. Part of the reason is because we got really sick as a family a few times. So the first thing that happened was we got norovirus, which was extreme for us. And because I have other chronic illness, every time I get a virus like that, it lasts a bit longer for me and is a bit more serious for me than it is for people in my life. So my husband got it and I got it, and he was over it in a few days, and it took me well over a week to get over it. I work a full-time job where I create training for pilots, and it happened during a really busy time where we were trying to get these courses finished because the pilots needed to do the courses. So that was a bit intense, and I was trying to make up for lost time to get that done. And of course, when you get sick, you get behind on everything and things that just keep getting pushed, and you're trying to constantly play catch up. During the first 3 months of the year, I also was trying ADHD medication. I have ADHD. I was diagnosed with it at 17, and I took medication as a teenager. But as an adult, I decided not to take medication, and I just got used to coping with it. A lot of people think ADHD gets cured, but really what happens is we just learn how to cope with it, and we either cope successfully or the coping really wears us down. And over time, what you think is success can actually be playing life on hard mode. And that's how I felt with my ADD. When I started taking medication with the help of my doctor, I was blown away by the quality of life improvement for me. ADHD doesn't really stop me from doing anything, but it was like a lot of little things throughout my day, a million things that would just add up and make me more tired, make me more stressed out, make me more overwhelmed. And I didn't have a lot of impulse control. And when people think of impulse control, they often think of things like, I'm doing something crazy. That's not what I mean. I just mean very any situation where a neurotypical person would pause and think about the next step, I don't really do. And it can be anything as simple as being reactive when somebody triggers me emotionally, or as simple as I probably shouldn't eat that cake because I'm full and it's going to give me a bellyache, but I don't have the moment to slow down and think that. I just go, ooh, cake, and I eat it. And it sounds funny, but there's a million things that line up in a day. And I'm trying to use all my energy to cope with those things and do really well at my job and stay on top of the cleaning in my home and stay on top of my YouTube. And when I took medication, it was like, oh my gosh, is this how neurotypical people live? They just have the brain chemicals that they need. It was mind blowing because with ADHD, we don't have enough dopamine. So we don't even have the same base levels that everybody else has. So medication just brings us up to the same base level that other people have. And there's a lot of myths and misconceptions out there. If you're kind of interested in the ADHD end of things, I could maybe do another video about it. But adjacent to my ADHD, I also have dyspraxia, which I've talked about in videos. And this impacts my spatial recognition and my fine motor control. I think the ADHD is hereditary. The dyspraxia, I think, developed because I was a micro premature baby. So that's a whole other kettle of fish. But basically, being on medication changed my life. I felt like I was on top of everything. I was really happy. I didn't know that I could be that happy. I was just so used to playing life on hard mode and working hard and just seeing little result for the amount of effort I was putting in. It just made life click. So many things clicked. I could communicate better with people, with my husband, with my son. I could stay on top of things. I didn't get overwhelmed as easily. I didn't get overstimulated as easily. It was wild. But unfortunately, unbeknownst to me, I had some permanent heart damage as a result of my pregnancy, because in my pregnancy, I developed preeclampsia, eclampsia, and post-eclampsia, which is super high blood pressure that can cause you to have a stroke. And it stuck around for half a year after I had my son. And this was really difficult for me. It has long-term effects, and it's linked back to having endometriosis, which is the chronic disease I have that I talk about a lot. So I developed atrial fibrillation, and I had a few attacks in the past few years before having ADHD medication. But unfortunately, ADHD medication can encourage the attacks. So I was trying stimulant medication first, and all the different stimulant medications, they were working for my ADHD, but they were giving me terrible AFib attacks. And AFib is when your heart is beating in an incorrect rhythm, and it can't hurt you in the moment, but if it continues, you can develop blood clots because the blood is not moving properly through your heart. The attacks themselves can range from not feeling them at all to kind of annoying to absolutely horrible. So most of the attacks I had, I didn't feel them at all, or they were just mildly annoying, and my watch would pick them up and give me an alert. So it took us a while to figure out it was the medication. Then we tried a non-stimulant medication instead, and non-stimulants are not supposed to do this at all. It's not supposed to happen. But I still had AFib. In fact, it was even worse, to the point that I had to go to the hospital. It felt like I was having a heart attack. And usually my AFib attacks would last for a few minutes. And instead, this lasted for over an hour. And I actually, unfortunately, couldn't get the help I needed at the emergency department because they were completely overloaded and they could not see me fast enough, even though I was having a heart episode. So I'm really thankful in Canada that we have universal health care, but on a provincial level, it's needs more help. It definitely needs more help. There's not enough doctors, not enough nurses, not enough space for the amount of people coming in. So I've kind of experienced both ends of that, and that was a negative. We figured out it was the medication and stopped all the medication. AFib went away. I have been waiting to see a cardiologist now for 3 months, even though it's a semi-urgent case. So that's kind of always in the back of my mind. That was about 6 weeks of AFib. And the problem with the AFib attacks is they left me exhausted. So it made it really hard for me to make videos or do anything outside of just my day-to-day standard stuff that I had to do to just work and take care of my family. Even when I didn't know I was having AFib attacks, my watch would pick them up and I would still have that exhaustion symptom. It felt like being hung over from drinking or something. Then after that, my family got the flu, which sounds like a mild thing, but this was actually the worst flu I've ever had in my entire life. It was terrible. I was sick for weeks. Honestly felt like I was going to die a few times. It was so terrible. It wasn't just like a cough or a runny nose. It was full on body aches, inability to eat, struggling to drink, terrible pain, terrible headaches, low energy. Just going to the bathroom was hard. And my husband got it, and then my toddler got it. And it was really serious. With my toddler, he was unresponsive for days at a time. So we had to go to the emergency with him, where he also did not get seen. So we ended up waiting a few days and getting to see our GP. And by the time we saw our GP, he was coming out the other side. But as you can imagine, it was a very stressful time for me. So this is basically January, February, March. I'm into April now. The sickness lasted into April, but we're catching up. We are slowly getting out of things. And then all of a sudden, we get a big, giant snowstorm. This time last year, I was wearing outfits like this out for walks in the sun. I was able to go outside and make content. I couldn't go in the water, but I could go in front of it. I could go in nature areas and get pictures and video. It's just more snow. It's more snow, and it's a lot of work for me to do mermaid content in the snow. It's not pleasant, and there's only so much I can do, and I'm also juggling a toddler. So that has set me back. Coming up, though, I do have some videos I'm working on in between all the sickness. I was able to do some filming with a weight belt, so I'm going to edit that up for you. And also, I have lined up to work with some makeup artists who also do body painting and special effects, and I'm going to work with them and go test the looks underwater. So that's going to be cool. And I'm also going to do a video about what it was like going viral on YouTube and how that has impacted my channel. So that should be really interesting too, I think, and topical to the mermaids that want to get more involved in YouTube. And as far as YouTube goes, I'm feeling a little bit discouraged these days because I feel like I was doing really well, and then these 3 months really sat me back. I have dropped the ball. I ran out of content. I usually like to have a lot of content in the back so that I can just keep rolling things out and have breaks, but I just ran out of everything. And I've been trying to do little edits here and there to share with you and find some archival content, but I really just I need to have a moment to catch up and film some things and have some life experiences that aren't just me being sick, trying to work, and trying to juggle motherhood. Um, there's also all this weirdness going on with America and the tariffs, and I think people forget I am Canadian. Like the first Canadian mermaid. I've been doing this for 16 years. There were people before me, but I was sort of the first to register a business and get on YouTube and do things. It's a different experience, and I think people often project the American experience onto me and forget that I'm Canadian, or people think Canada and America aren't very different. We really, really are. We very are different than the United States of America, and that's really becoming a prominent thing right now that we're seeing as the Americans just had their election in the fall. We're about to have our election in a few weeks here. It's been a weird time. I know and love so many Americans. I have a lot of amazing American friends. My son's godmother is American. I have so many American fans, but Canadians are being warned that we shouldn't travel to the US right now because of being detained and what's going on there. And I've actually been stopped at customs many times because of my mermaid stuff. And I always have letters and documents and everything, and I always get through, but people aren't getting through now, even though they're following the law and following the requirements. They're being kind of, it's like an entrapment thing. So I don't really feel safe going there. I also, because I work in the aviation field, I don't feel safe flying in American airspace right now with everything that's been going on with the air traffic controllers being cut, and just like a lot of people being laid off who really are needed, and the amount of crashes that are happening. There's a lot more I could say about that, but I have to be careful because I don't want to cause any kind of issues with my day job. But yeah, that is a little bit of a concern for me, so I don't feel super safe about that. The bummer is I'm missing California Mermaid Convention, which happens every May, and I was really looking forward to. Also, this year is my big 40th birthday in November, and I was planning on going to Florida and visiting Mertailor and visiting all my friends, and I don't feel safe enough to do that right now. Regardless of your political leanings, I just think it's really important to stop and consider that the American president's decisions do impact so many more people outside of America, and that many of these decisions are backfiring and harming American people. I really am kind of taken aback by the impact of tariffs, and our country decided to do counter tariffs. And of course, there's a lot of flip-flopping on that, so I never know really what's happening, but it's putting me in a weird position because I promote Mertailor, who is an American company. I promote the Lemonade Mermaid, who is an American company. I promote Goggles, who is an American company, and I promote other smaller American companies as well. And I believe in those companies, and I promote them because I actually use them, and I know it can be hard and overwhelming when you're new to the industry trying to find reliable companies. So I'm going to keep promoting them with the understanding that those promotions are geared towards Americans. Right now, Canadians don't have the luxury of buying from American companies while the tariffs are on. It's a 25% tariff minimum, and we're really seeing a strive to buy local and support local. So the good thing that's come from that is I'm going to collaborate with the Vancouver Mermaid as well and promote some of her content. And I've got a top arriving here soon. I'm hoping to have a tail in the future. I'm just trying to get my ducks in a row for that. And you know, one of my friends is selling one of her tails too that might fit me, so I might scoop that up. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I am excited to start sharing with you some more Canadian artists for the Canadians that follow me. The thing is, my YouTube demographic is not a lot of Canadians. So for the Canadians watching, you know, please don't feel disregarded. You will find more information in my fan group, Raina the Mermaid Sea Fans, because I have more of a Canadian audience there. So I'll be posting more things there. But really, this is just where I am right now with life. I'm trying to recover from all these sicknesses. I've had to edit this video a few times because I've had coughing fits. I'm trying to stay on top of my day job, which is really busy. And to be truthfully honest, I'm getting a little stuck in the grind of just work, come home, clean, cook, do a million errands, take care of my toddler, go to bed, do it all over again the next day, try to squeeze in some self-care, maybe watch a TV show. And I'm so thankful to be a mom, but this routine is kind of soul crushing for a person who spent 16 years being able to be really creative. And it doesn't have anything to do with my son. It's just the timing of how things happen. If you watch my videos about why I had to close my business. And I'm a person who processes my emotions after the fact, after the danger has passed, after the thing has happened. And so I closed my business last year at the end of the year, and I'm really feeling it now. And I know that it was the right choice, but I really miss that part of my identity. And I really miss the creativity, and I miss the traveling and the sense of community I had. So I'm just trying to find myself again with that. I'm trying to find, where does Raina belong? How do I do this on YouTube? How can I nurture this part of myself? And it's tricky being somebody on the internet. I have a folder on Facebook of terrible YouTube comments I get, and most of them are funny, but some of them are sad, you know? I actually lost almost 25 pounds in the past year, and I worked really hard, and I did it for my heart health. I was able to bring down my blood sugar levels, which were really high because of postpartum, and I was able to bring down some high cholesterol, and I'm still struggling a bit with that, but my BMI is 21 now. It's doing really good. Not that BMI is the be all end all. And I'm really proud that I was able to do this. It was very slow. And I did this for health reasons, but it's really discouraging to put that much effort in and still get nasty fat comments on everything, as if I am boiled down to nothing but my weight. And I feel for people who actually are dealing with everything that comes with obesity, because it's hard enough and nobody is able to turn their life around simply because people shame them. All shaming and making fun of does is make people depressed and actually have more trouble with it, right? So it does kind of bum me out. I've like accomplished so much and done so much, and then I just get these stupid like, whale, you're fat comments and everything. I'm also pretty awesome, and I get to have a mermaid life, and I've done some pretty cool things. So what are you doing on the other side of your computer, you know? I feel like the mental health aspect of being on YouTube, being on social media, being an influencer, I don't even consider myself one, but I technically fall under that label. It gets missed. So anyway, there's my mermaid musings, my catching up on what it's been like with health issues, ADHD, being a mom, and trying to find my identity. I'm really hopeful I'll be able to make new content soon, and I'm excited to share it with you. And I just really appreciate your support. If you're still watching here like 18 minutes later, it's because you're a true supporter. Maybe this video will only get 200 views, and that's another discouraging thing, because I used to get more views when I only had 14,000 subscribers. And now I'm almost at 800,000, and I get less views than I did at 14,000. It's depressing. But I still want to connect with my people, with my fish, with the kids who have followed me their whole lives, to the adults who are afraid to try something new but really want to be a mermaid or a merman. So I'm going to keep making my stuff, and it'll land with the right people. So thank you so much for your support and following me, and I hope this update helped to see where things are going. I look forward to hearing from you.